Ahoy there, matey. You look like the type that fancies a good game. Well, delightful news. Dead Men Tell No Tales has a new expansion, and it's up on Kickstarter right now. So let's take a look at what it brings to the table. Prepare to face the Kraken. We'll be using the miniatures for this walkthrough, some of which are from a separate expansion, but are also currently available on Kickstarter. The setup is the same as before, with the following differences. Rather than just throwing down a basic deckhand, pour them all into a pouch along with the red deckhand leaders. Now draw a random one to place. If it's red, immediately draw another one to add. If it also is red, keep this rhythm going until you draw a basic white one. Next, remove the trapdoor tokens that came with the base game and replace them with the new ones. These have an open side and a closed side. Now before you hand out the character cards, in whatever way you do, add in Swivel Gun Sandy and switch out Black Gus for his upgraded Kraken expansion version. This part is of course optional, but recommended. Add the axe to your item cards, then carry on as usual. Now add an extra coin to everyone's action token stack. This will cause most characters to start with 6 rather than the previous 5. If you're playing with Lydia, you'll end up with 7 total. Hand out the Kraken Player Aid cards along with the base ones. Keep them handy. Keep the tentacles nearby, as well as the head of the monster. He'll jump in the game shortly. Place the exploded barrel tokens, as well as the cannons and cannon die with the rest of your resources. Shuffle the adrenaline tokens and Kraken cards, and place the Kraken board. Take the black and red cubes and set them up like so. The black cube is its strength. In a basic game, it starts at 10. The red one is its health, started at 5 for now. Well, there's your setup. Let's take a look at how it'll change the game. Firstly, all eyes are on the Kraken, so let's fast forward to when he shows up. That'll be after everyone takes their first turns. The last player in the queue will end their turn by following the Skelet's Revenge step with the Kraken Attacks step. That player moves the Kraken's head to the rear of the column across from the front door. In case you weren't aware, these are rows and these are columns. This here's the front of the ship, and the opposite tiles comprise the rear. Make sure you remember this, it'll make things go smoother from here on. The player who just placed the Kraken then draws a Kraken card and follows the instructions. By instructions they mean printed symbols. Let me just interpret those for you. Arrows mean make that many moves in that direction, one column at a time. If you go off the end of the ship, just pop him right back up on the other side. Easy as pie. When this one shows up, you've got trouble, mate. It means tentacle attack. So place a lesser tentacle on all tiles on that column, except for the one furthest front. This one gets a tentacle end. Always. Nasty business, but nothing you can't handle. Any room with a brand new tentacle or tentacle end, they're basically the same, reduces its fire value by 1. That's how cool this customer is. Of course, if one of your crew happens to be in one of those rooms, their fatigue goes up by 2. And they will need a fresh pair of pants, I'm guessing. After placing tentacles, increase the Kraken strength by 1, because you know how empowering a good stretch can be. Finally, shuffle up all the Kraken cards, all 4 of them, and play passes back to the first player. Now then, we're ready for the real meat of the matter. Let's talk about some differences in gameplay you can expect. In the Search the Ship step, all's perfectly familiar unless you've got that bloody great sea beast in your way when you need to place a tile. Just give him a scoot to the rear. He's a sport about that. Place your tile and move on. Another mentionable thing, when you draw a trapdoor token, place it open side up. Now, for the pirate action step. The Kraken expansion graciously adds all the following new actions. Loading a cannon. Simply place 1 cannon token on the front of your column. It'll come in handy later. There's no limit on these, so go crazy. Well, you only have so many, so I guess that's your limit. By the way, these tokens are merely placeholders for much cooler ones, so make your pledge today. Closing a trapdoor. This one's easy. Flip. Now the scurvy scalawags can't get out. Yet. Chopping tentacles. Come on, you know these things are bugging you. Let's start cleaning them out. The number of tentacles on a column, ends included, equal the total battle strength. So that's what you're up against. Roll your battle die and add your modifiers, if any, and see whose is bigger. Well, actually, you'll win ties as well. If you have an equal or greater number, you are victorious against the squirmy appendages. Take all of the tokens from that column and put them back in the supply. Ha, you sent it packing. Then draw 2 adrenaline tokens and pick one to keep. The other one goes back with the rest. It takes moxie to go toe-to-toe with the behemoth's wiggly bits. You deserve a keepsake. Just keep this for later. Now, if you don't cut the mustard, don't pout. Just raise your fatigue level by 1 and get on with your life. It's hard work getting bested by this awful thing. Attacking the Kraken. You may only give this one a go once per turn, so make sure you're ready, mate. The Kraken's battle strength is indicated on his card, plus the number of columns between you and it, including his. Are you sure you're ready to do this? You can only attack if you're on the furthest rear tile of your column. You don't have to be on the same column as the Kraken, but it's best to get as close as possible. First off, if there are cannons on this column, you have to decide to use them before you attack the beast, so make up your mind now. If you do, remove 1 cannon token, and now you can add the cannon die to your roll. Aye, up to 6 possible additional points. That is why they call them the big guns. Now, once battle has begun, there will be no gamely interruptions, so let's do this. Roll your battle die as normal, and add the cannon die if you have one. Your final battle strength is battle die result, plus cannon die result, if any, plus any modifiers. If your final result isn't to your liking, you may discard an additional cannon token from your column to re-roll the cannon die again, up to the number you have available there. Alright, now if you are equal or greater, you must do 3 things. Move the Kraken's strength and health tokens down 1 space on his board. Draw 2 adrenaline tokens, as before. Choose 1 to keep and 1 to throw back. And draw the top Kraken card, then do what it says, naturally. Now if you come up short, raise your fatigue level by the difference, meaning Kraken's strength minus your strength. Grab your calculator and take your lashes. Then, draw the top Kraken card and let it tell you what happens next. If you are virile enough to drive the Kraken's health down to 0, you've achieved legendary status. Remove the Kraken's head, tentacles, cards, and all traces of the horrid creature, and never speak of it again. You'll skip the Kraken attack step for the rest of the game. And while we're in the pirate's action phase, I should mention that after successfully looting treasure, the Kraken will lose 1 point of strength. Accumulate wealth, weaken your foes. There's no downside here. Also, regarding tiles containing 1 or more tentacles, you'll need to add 1 additional fatigue for each tentacle when entering that room. What a drag. The Skelet's Revenge step has a few things to look out for as well. If you need to put deckhands on a tile with a closed trapdoor, flip it open instead of placing anything. Whenever you draw your deckhands, pull from the pouch, and if it's red, keep drawing and placing until you get one that isn't. The Kraken attacks step is more or less the same as before. Draw a card, go through the motions, then pass to the next player. However, the Kraken comes with new perils, and ye should know what to watch out for. If you can't place a tentacle when told to do so because they're all gone, then the mission has gone sour in a big way. Consider the ship pulled below, and consider the day lost. Game over, man. Also, if you need to raise the Kraken's strength but can't because it's maxed out, then I'm afraid the game is lost as well. The ship is pulled apart by a sea monster in beast mode. Thanks for playing, insert coins and try again. As far as how it affects victory conditions, you're now required to slay the Kraken in addition to normal looting goals, so make it a priority to ensure its demise ASAP. And finally, what about those adrenaline tokens? Well, you'll find they contain useful effects to improve a bad situation. You may use them on your turn or even another player's turn, but only during the Pirate Actions step. Once you've used one, discard it from the game. You've got 1 chance to make the most of it, so wait for the opportune moment. There's the breakdown for adding the Kraken expansion to your copy of Dead Men Tell No Tales. Happy looting, and here's to your inevitable success. The Kraken seems like a very logical element to add to a game that's based on the outcome of a sea battle, and we find ourselves focused mostly on the Kraken itself when playing. That's not to say that the skeleton crew and guards have somehow gotten easier. However, having an extra action token does make a considerable difference. The expansion offers the opportunity for cooperative players to establish their individual functions in meeting the victory conditions of the game. One of you roids up to decapitate the beasts, while the other grabs the treasure and heads for the door. As for the new bits, we're told that some of the elements are placeholders for upgraded pieces once the game is funded. So these may not be the final versions of the cannons, Kraken tokens, tentacles, etc. It's worth considering that the pieces in both expansions come unpainted. But get some paint pots or strike a deal with that guy at the hobby shop. Or just leave them as they are, they're fine. You used to play Monopoly with a shoe, for Johnny's sake. All in all, the experience is delightful. I'm personally very excited to add the expansion to my game, and the minis to my shelf. If you have a mind to, I recommend flying over to Kickstarter and securing your copy. Thanks for stopping in for ye old Pirates Parley. May you be lucky in dice and lucky in life. Thanks for watching. Now, if you'd be so kind as to honor the following rules from the Pirates Code. Like, comment, and subscribe. Plus, if you aren't too busy today, perhaps you could follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I mean, what else is the internet for?